set of perspective things. People talk about a desire to be successful. All of the elements.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Rick Wallace here. Stopping in for a morning inspirational message, a moment of encouragement, enlightenment to share with you, hopefully leave you with something that can help you along your progressive journey of life and help you elevate your state and state of being, so to speak. So I'm going to share something here with you this morning. I'm going to try to be as brief as I possibly can to save time and to really let you have the opportunity to digest it and metabolize it within your psyche. So let's do it this way. There are three components or elements that work synergistically together to create massive change, to achieve massive results in the area of elevation and empowerment. The way you approach life, the way you deal with life, the way you are able to achieve success. And for the purpose of having clarity of success, I'm going to use a definition given by Earl Nightingale many, many years ago, because success to different people is different. And no one's definition of what success is wrong to them, because success is the ideal of achieving that thing which you place great value on. So success for clarity here is simply the progressive pursuit of a worldly goal. Get this, the progressive pursuit of a worldly goal, not the attainment of the goal. The attainment of the goal is an ultimate milestone in which you reset your gate and you set another goal. And then the vast majority of your life isn't going to be in experiencing the reaching of a goal. It's going to be in the pursuit of a goal. You're going to spend way more time pursuing the goal than you are experiencing the goal. The goal is going to be an event. The pursuit is going to be a journey. The journey is where you experience success. The reaching of the goal is where you celebrate the success. And then you recalibrate, set another goal, and you go after it. So success is the progressive pursuit of a goal that's worthy, or a worthy goal, something that you perceive to be worthy of your attention, your commitment, your strain, your fight, your energy, your effort. That is success. So if a man is pursuing something and gaining ground in pursuing it in life, he's successful. So don't let people tell you who you are, what you are, by where you are. You are who you are and what you are based on what you believe about yourself and what that causes you to do with your actions. Okay, let's move on. Now, there are three synergistic forces that work together that enable and empower people to experience massive change. They are, now, any one of these, if you can master any one of these, you're doing great and you're going to see change in your life. But if you can get all three working, they're awesome. I'm only going to talk to you in depth about one as much as I can in this short period of time. It is strategy, it is your story, and it is your state. Now, I've heard Tony Robinson, who I have studied immensely and has a major influence on me. Just some of the people who have influence on the strategies and techniques I use go all the way back to Earl Nightingale, who to me is the dean of inspirational, motivational, life changed type people, whatever you want to call them. I don't really see myself as a motivational speaker. I think everybody at some level is already motivated. If you got your children, you're trying to feed them, you're motivated. If you're trying to get a business, you're motivated. If you're trying to get financial security, you're already motivated. What you need is a strategy. You need to understand how to achieve it. You need to understand what to do on the inside to better prepare yourself to do it. You need techniques, you need strategies, you need an approach, a direction. You don't need motivation. Now, while I may help lift your energy, you're already motivated. Don't confuse energy with motivation. Motivation will provide energy at a certain level, but there are other things that provide that as well. Anyway, you have your strategy, your state, and your story. Your story and your state. We're going to talk about the story because the story has a massive impact on whether either will work. You can have the greatest strategy in the world And if you don't have the right story, it ain't gonna work. How many times have you seen people with the answer in front of them, the perfect strategy? They know exactly how to do something. They've been told a million times, if you just do it this way, this way, this way. And for whatever reason, they can find a way that is not going to work. That only works for rich people. That only works for the privileged. I'm not smart enough. It's never going to work for me because they've always got a story that they continuously tell themselves that solidifies the fact that they're not going to do anything to change. Let me explain something to you. Your belief system is the most powerful thing you have working for you, because how your belief system sets the way you perceive life. It also sets the state of what you perceive and believe about yourself. And it's just common sense that great results require massive action. But if you don't believe that something is going to work for whatever reason, the belief doesn't have to be true. It just has to be real to you. You have to believe it. If you believe that it won't happen, you will not apply massive action to it. And then it creates what I call the cycle of life, the cycle of momentum. And the cycle of momentum works both ways. If I believe something is going to happen, if I have this belief system and I look at something and I say, I know I can do it. I know that I can do it. I'll go out, and even if I'm trying the wrong way, I'm presenting massive action and I will see progress. And then if I'm really truly believing that I can, then I just simply say, okay, I must adjust because I didn't get the results I wanted, but I seen some results, so I go back. But let me explain something to you. This is how the cycle of momentum works. If I believe that something is not going to work, number one is I'm not going to apply massive action. That's just common sense. Nobody is going to go out and invest massive action into something they don't believe is going to work. Now, depending on who's watching and who told them to do it, whether, if it's a child and their mom told them to do it, if it's an employee and their boss told them to do it, then they may go do it because they don't have a choice. Or if they feel enough people is watching and they've got to put forth the effort, they'll go out and do it. But if they don't believe it's going to work, they're not going to invest massive action into it. They're not going to invest their energy, their psyche, their emotion, the sacrificing their sleep. I mean, all the things you got to do to really pursue and take over success. They're not going to invest that. And so what they're going to do is they're going to get the results that are consequence of what they've done. They haven't invested, so they get bad results. Well, then the bad results turn around and reinforce the belief that they had in the first place, that they couldn't do it. So they do even less the next time the opportunity to do the same thing comes around. They do even less. Why? Because the last time it didn't work. I knew it wasn't going to work. Why am I going to do this again? So they do it less. And you create this downward momentum, or they call it a downward spiral. On the other hand, if you believe that you can, you invest massive action into doing something that you want to do. You will get results. You will get significant results, good results, which will reinforce your belief that you could. You go back out, you apply massive action. It doesn't mean you achieve the goal. It means you see the progress. But if you don't change your story, if you're constantly telling yourself, I can't because. One of the things that one of my high school teachers told me, and I literally took it to heart, and it really shaped a great deal of my belief system. She was always praising me for what I was capable of, but more importantly, she told me one day, just remember that the word can't does not apply to you. And I took it to heart. I didn't take it like, oh, well, okay, cool. No, I really said, wait a minute. What if it doesn't? What if the word can't doesn't apply to me? And so I don't use the word I can't doesn't come out of my mouth because I can. The question is, am I willing to pay the price? The question is, am I willing to take the chances? The question is, am I willing to take the risks? See, there's nothing worth having out there that doesn't require you to take risks. See, you're going to risk failure. You're going to risk people talking about you. You're going to risk people laughing at you. You're going to risk people looking at you and saying, I thought you was, when it's not moving or happening fast enough. But you're going to have to make up in your mind you're willing to pay the price for what it is you want. There's no such thing as can't. You can't because you have told yourself you can't. You told yourself a story. I'm not smart enough. I'm not big enough. I don't have the resources. I don't have the right people in my corner. I don't have all these different things. But yet you claim to be designed by an omnipotent God that has all power and has said that they reside on the inside of you, and that many of us believe that we are a manifestation of God, and yet sit up and talk about can't. Where does can't come out of that equation? But we tell ourselves this story, and you cannot you can have the greatest strategy. Matter of fact, Tony Robinson says that success in life is actually 80% psychology, and 20% mechanics or strategy. And I agree 100% of the time. You can have the greatest strategy in the world, but if your mind isn't set to where it can engage life, take on the challenges of life, be willing to deal with all the disappointments of life, be willing to pay the price, be willing to believe that if I can conceive it in my mind. That's something that I learned from Earl Nightingale back when they were records, and nobody in my neighborhood had them, but I had to find. Earl Nightingale was on records. I mean, LPs. There wasn't no radio, no cassette tapes, none of that stuff. And this dude would be saying, if you can conceive it in your mind and believe it, then you can achieve it. And then later on down the line, unbeknownst to the fact that he used to listen to Earl Nightingale too, Les Brown came along and said that if you can conceive it in your mind, that's God's promise to you that it's possible. And then if you go, what I'm trying to get you to understand is if you believe in a supreme being, if you believe in something greater, an infinite intelligence of the universe that set the order of how things happen, that the law of reciprocity that just continuously works the same way every time, meaning that if you plant a seed, it comes back in a harvest. If you send out negative energy, it comes back negative. If you do something negative, it comes back negative. But if you raise your frequency, if you raise the vibrations through which you operate, you bring positive things to you. If you believe that there's infinite intelligence that set this kind of order in motion, then you got to believe that he's either sadistic, if you think that he would allow your mind that was designed by him to conceive things that it couldn't have. Think about it. That's torture. To sit up and visualize and think of things that are just so awesome and vivid, but never be able to experience it. Your mind is actually given to you to create first in imagery that thing which you will ultimately have manifested in the physical. In other words, everything that you achieve in the physical state, the third dimension, is already manifested in the fifth and fourth dimension spiritually and psychologically before you can have it in the third dimension. That's what your mind is capable of doing, but you're talking yourself out of it. Then there's all this anxiety, all this worry, all this stress, all this frustrations. But even again, then go back. I'm pretty sure there's something there in the Bible that sits up and says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, make your request known unto God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. In other words, there are some things at work here that you can't rationalize. And when you start trying to rationalize how you're going to do the exceptional, the phenomenal, the extraordinary, you start talking yourself out of it. When you start trying to rationalize how you're going to come out of poverty, how you're going to come out of darkness, how you're going to start a business with no money, how you're going to do all this here, and you start trying to rationalize, see, some things are just bigger than you at the moment. You got to believe that what you have on the inside of you is great, that you got to believe that your purpose is great. You got to believe that there's something on the inside of your design that was placed there to accomplish the things that your mind conceives that you're not yet prepared or equipped to do. So when you come up with something in your mind, the first thing, matter of fact, Les Brown says it this way. When you are making that decision that you're going to do something great, how you're going to do it is not your business. It's not any of your business. What you need to do first is make the decision that you can. You need to convince yourself that you can. Every story that you tell yourself is, I know I can do it. I was built for this. I don't know how many times I say this. When I run up against something and it's huge and it's towering down over me, I just say, I'm built for this. I'm built for the battle. I'm built for what lies ahead. I have never come to a point in life and faced something, no matter how horrendous or terrible, and wasn't built for it, because I'm still standing. That's how I know I was built for it. I didn't let it break me. I refused to sit up and feel down for myself. And real quickly, as I close this out, there's this thing called state. State, you got to be in a good state to have the right mindset to even start to change your story. But you got to have a willingness to change your story. The strategy is the last thing you get to. You got to have a right state. Your state is your state of existence. It's the combination of where you're at mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. It's whether you've got that balance, that equilibrium that allows you to engage life in a positive mindset. When you have fear, you're out of you're out of equilibrium. You're not in a good state. When you're angry, you're not in a good state. When you're sad, you're not in a good state. Do those things happen? Yes. But you've got to have a practice and a technique to get you out of state. And what I've learned is that the body is a powerful mechanism for dictating state. You ever had somebody tell you when you're going through something, hold your head up? That's not a metaphor for don't let it get you down like most people think. Have you ever tried to feel bad holding your head up? Have you ever squared your shoulders in the middle of going through something, feeling real bad and down? Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you're going through something, whatever the situation is. Maybe you lost some money. Maybe you got things that you need to do and you don't know how you're going to do it. Maybe you're about to try to start a business, or you're meeting a client you never met before, and this client can completely shape the destiny of your company, and you're feeling a little nervous. And the thing is, when you're feeling nervous, one of the things that we tend to do when we see an issue or an instance that's bigger than us, we tend to shrink in. We tend to cower down. We begin to shrink in on ourselves. Look at your posture when you're starting to feel a certain way. It's telling you what you're doing. But have you ever tried to square your shoulders and hold your head up and still feel bad? Or still feel like you can't do something? Have you tried that? You know how hard it is to still feel bad when you hold. That's why when you trying to get somebody who's feeling bad to hold their head up, if they're hell bent on feeling bad, they can't get that head up. Why? Because they have experience. When you feel I can't be a victim when I've got my head up. I can't blame life for anything when I got my head up. That's the moment I can see over the fence and realize that there's something greater out there for me than this moment. There's some power in your posture. There's some power in your posture. Create a state within yourself that says, I'm not going to be broken by the moment. Square your shoulders, hold your head up, tell yourself, I can. The strategy will come. What I've learned, and I'm going to get off after this, what I've learned is, matter of fact, I'm going to get off and I'm going to close it out. I've read this to you guys before, but I'm going to do it again today. Because I sit up and read this. I need to go ahead and commit it to memory. I pretty much know it, but this is something written by William Hutchinson Murray years ago. And it explains why a lot of people quit and don't ever try, because they're looking for providence, something proven, the method, the pathway, the strategy, the resources. They're looking for that before they start. See, it doesn't require faith. It doesn't require faith to step out and do something when everything's laid out for you. That's not faith. And see, faith is a powerful force. Faith is what moves the universe. Faith is what makes the universe conspire on your behalf. But let me tell you what William Hutchinson Murray said. He says, until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Until you commit to something, this is me paraphrasing, until you commit to something, there's hesitancy, you'll quit, you'll draw back, you'll never ever really fulfill or follow through on anything. He's saying concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's an elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideals and splendid plans. When you don't know this truth, it will kill your dreams. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then, let me repeat that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Providence is waiting on you. The answer is waiting on you. The resources are waiting on you to make the commitment. Here we go. Say, all sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. The boldness of just beginning it. Step out on faith. Stop looking for the answer. Stop trying to figure out how. Just say in your mind, it's in my mind. I've conceived it. The fact that I've conceived it in my mind, it's absolute 100% certain proof by God that it's possible. So I'm going to step out. It's when you make that decision to commit to it that providence moves too. Stop looking for the answer. Start believing in yourself. How can you believe in God and not believe in yourself? He created you. Stop looking for God to do for you what he designed you to do. Start stepping out and start believing. Stop taking the punches of life. Life is coming at you. The vicissitudes of life will find you. It's going to roll into your paradise. It's going to shake up your world. There are going to be things you look at and you don't understand and you can't figure out. Stop allowing those things to shake you up. Stand up, square your shoulders, lift your head, say I can, press forward. Watch providence move. That's it for today. I love you guys. That's when I wake up every morning and I thank you, Denise. When I wake up every morning and I say good morning, warriors, that's what I'm talking about. People who understand they built for the battle. People that are not going to fold because things aren't taking shape. People that are not going to allow worry, frustration, stress, all those things to enter into their life and shake up their world when they've been told by God not to. I can't say that I know my purpose and my worth and understand my design and then get shaken. And some people will look at me and say, you're not concerned. No, I just simply know who I am. And one or two things are going to happen when I engage anything. I'm going to overcome it. It's going to kill me. I'm good with either one, but I'm not going to back down from it. I'm not going to turn around and run from it. And lastly, I say this all the time. Delay is not denial. So many people lose out because it doesn't come when they think it should or it's not happening fast enough. They get into survival mode and they quit. I haven't met anybody in survival mode that's ever accomplished anything but surviving. And if you think that's all you were put here for, was survival, I'm sorry. You are exceptional. You are phenomenal. You are extraordinary. And that's what you should be living. I love you guys. As I always say, I'm down empty. I'm dying on E. I encourage you to do the same thing. I encourage you to raise the level of your expectations, because God will only meet you at the level of your expectations. The universe will only meet you at the level of your expectations. Life will only meet you at the level of your expectations. Life will pay whatever price you demand of it. Trust me. I know. I'm out. Peace.
Here I come, ready or not. Frank Ocean made this record hot.
From a conceptual
Jay sounded better than Jay.
perspective, people talk
Real
about
talk,
it as
I ain't throwing shots. Careful who